I got here at like 9, but sorry guys. Sorry. How you doing? How you doing, guys? Thanks for joining us on the new channel or the second channel. It's not a new channel. It's actually older than this other channel that you guys are used to. Can you hear us loud and clear? Does everybody know? Hello, 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 hello. PJ Lee, Patchouli Julie, Buffy Love, Estiana. How we doing, guys? There's 10 people here.
Okay.
I don't know if everybody got this.
I put it out, but I'm wondering if people kind of didn't click the link and just looked up Toddie One Skip. You know, I don't know.
Well, that's okay with me simply because if they go to my channel, and go to my my posts, the post will tell them to come here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's the best that I can do. And I put out a video telling people to come here. And I had that link there. So it'll just be something that'll catch on and they'll catch it on the replay maybe.
Right. That's fine.
So guys, how is everybody? How is everybody over here? I got Glamis back up. Kathleen Fleck, how you doing? Milk Honey and Mayhem, y'all. I'm here. Hey, she did a great video. Check out. She did a live video. Jamie did Milk Honey and Mayhem. Check her out. Check her out. Let's see who else we got. So how was your week, Rebecca Michello?
Well, I'm finally closing on my house today. So I'm a little, I won't believe it till I have the keys in my hand, but yeah, it's been tough. It hasn't been easy, and nothing is for me though. And I'm convinced that it never will be. So I'm kind of used to that. But yeah, today I have to actually, when I'm done here, I got to run to the bank and I'll be broke again, but that's okay. I'll have a house.
There you go.
So
you'll have something that's yours.
That's
and hopefully you'll find peace. You'll make peace there, and you'll make a life.
Right.
Hello, Marcolino, Shorty Pie. Trying to say hello to everybody. Thank you so much for coming on over here to the new channel. Well, again, it's not a new channel, Laura Roberts. It's just the other channel. This was the first channel
Right.
among this mess. Not technically alive, just a stream of milk being poured on my head. So she's still waiting on her 500 people. She's close. How many you got? Guys, run over there to Milk, Honey, and Mayhem and join this woman so she'll do a live stream.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Let me remind people of that too when I talk to everybody.
Yeah, Milk, Honey, and Mayhem.
I'm putting milk money. I'm writing down milk money.
Well, they might be going to milk money then. There you go. There you go, Jamie. There you go, Jamie. I am excited about my new house.
How's that going?
It's going. I can't move to where I was going to move because of everything that's happened. So I have to move to into a park. So that's a little sad, but it's okay because there's people that know me from before that are still there. So that's okay.
Right.
And,
do you get to pick your location there, or is it just whatever's available kind of thing? Or
well, the location I had at the first time was, because I was there when they first opened. So, but I don't want to go into all that because I don't want people I got to keep that private now.
Yeah, definitely
private now after everything. And if I'm going to work with the police, I got to do what they tell me to do.
No, you're right. Exactly.
But yeah, I'm not going to be taking pictures of the house or anything, guys. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But anyway, let's talk about some stuff. Let's talk about it was a good week. I got to tell you, I had a nice week. It was productive. It was I feel like I did pretty good. And this is a 1980 millennial here. She's texting me. I don't know.
Oh, here I'm looking at my phone thinking I'm dinging.
No. I don't know. I'm going to be getting phones soon because this one just doesn't shut up when I tell it to. I did a live stream with Red Valentine. I enjoyed that immensely, and it seems like a lot of people did. And, I woke up 10 minutes before. And
Wow.
so I was so discombobulated. I was exhausted. Hey, Jeanette, how you doing? How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. So yeah, but I had a nice, I thought that was a lot of fun. And I asked 1980, I think it was Red's idea, asked 1980 if she wanted to, well, 1980 asked me if we wanted to do it, if we want to do like a generational thing from baby boomers to Gen X to millennial.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun. We could do like a game show. Like how did you come inside when you were younger? What mode of technology did you use to listen to music? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that would be fun. What do you think? I think that'd be fun.
I think so. I was just talking to my sister over the weekend, and we were talking about how things have changed over the years from when we were little to now. And a lot has changed. And we say, why? Like, why didn't we just keep things the way they were? Like, we remember when stores were closed on Sundays, you couldn't go shopping. Everything was closed.
Blue light law.
Yeah.
Right? Blue light law, I think it was called. And let me tell you something, that wasn't in Florida, because I think you and I are around the same age, right?
I'm 54, so.
Okay, so I'm 8 years older, and I never saw that in Florida. But when I was in the witness protection program and I was brought to Baltimore, we walked around an empty mall on Sunday, and I was like, and they explained the blue light laws, and that's the first time I saw it. So I was about 12 or 13, something like that, when I saw it.
See, I just thought it was everywhere because that's how I grew up. So I thought, oh, that this is normal. You know, nothing.
We shopped on Sundays in Florida. I was buying my Levi's. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yep.
No, but I think that show would be a great idea, though. I think that would be really cool to do that.
Yep. I agree. Guys, could you please like this for me? This is very important because I do want this channel to gain some momentum as a second channel. I do want to do some live streams on here, like perhaps that Red and I think she wanted to do something on YouTube, maybe. And 1980, I think she was trying to get monetized. I don't know how that's working out for her, but I think she would maybe still want to do it on her. If we could take turns and do it, like, I think that would be a fun thing to do as well.
Yeah.
You know? So
definitely. I like to talk, Toddie. I don't care to whom and where. You know me. I'll talk.
There you go.
I'm still talking.
There you go. So, guys, I did want to give this a chance to have a few people coming up here. And hey, Tricky Vicky, thank you so much. Yeah, this is where I would like to continue doing Monday mornings on this channel, because this channel I wanted to make more of a human connection, more of a, yeah. So we'll see. You know, I don't want to put any restraints on things, because when things happen organically, I think it's the way that they're supposed to. So
right. I agree.
So yeah. Thank you so much, Tricky Vicky, for subscribing. I really appreciate it, guys. I really, really do. So turn the notifications on, because I'm also going to be doing something else live today on this channel. I want to do, I think I want to do the Nick Godejohn interrogation on this channel. I did it on the other channel, but I want to do it now with the hindsight that we know, with everything that we know now.
Right.
And look at it with the eyes of what we know now. And look at it. And a lot of people.
What time are you doing that?
I thought I would do that around noon.
Okay. I might not be able to check in then, because we have to do, the walkthrough and things. But
of course, and you should, by all means, man. No, celebrate your house. Celebrate your house. I'm also still moving stuff back and forth, but I have somebody here that's staying with me, helping me go back and forth.
Good.
So that's a good thing. Yeah. Because I want to get the dogs accustomed to going over there.
I'm nervous about the dog and cat going. I'm so scared. Mostly the cat, because he doesn't like to be put in a carrier or in a car. So I'm a little nervous about that.
Yeah, but you said it's 5 minutes away.
Literally, yeah, it's right down the street. So,
Walk the cat. Put the damn cat on a leash and walk the cat. What's wrong with you, lady?
Yeah, I think we decided my son was just going to put him in the truck with him and hope for the best.
Yeah, don't put him in a carrier. Can
Yeah,
you?
because he gets stressed out with
Yeah,
that.
why for 5 minutes? I think that can somebody like pet the cat, hold the cat.
Well, he's friendly with Jimmy, my son, so they have like this little relationship kind of. So maybe he might be okay with him just putting him in the truck with him, and it is just down the street. So
yeah, you just don't want the cat to get by the pedals.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So even if you drove and your son and the cat were together in the passenger,
yeah, Toddie, I'm not getting in the car with that cat. I'm afraid of him. Okay, cool. He gets so mean when you try to do something like that, and he makes a noise that I don't know is a cat noise, and it's scary. He shows every tooth in his mouth. His eyes come out. I can't be in the car with that. I already have anxiety, so I just opted not to do it.
Right.
So Jimmy's on his own, and we'll hope for the best. I'll have to report on that the next show.
There you go. That'll be great. So, guys, I did want to show a video. Thank you, Cherokee Girl. There was somebody else that I saw from the other side that came over here that I wanted to. Yeah, I'm not answering any questions about my house anymore because I had to move to a different situation because of that. So yeah, that's not going to happen.
I just wanted to mention to you, I tried to watch is his name Morbid, Sir Morbid or something? Yeah. But I'm not a follower. I'm trying to become, and I just kind of was lost in the conversation. So I checked out early. This was a couple nights ago. But can explain to me, does he just cover like several topics, or is he like one thing? I don't know because I haven't really watched enough.
So Morbid has been under the guise of a few different people during his YouTube career. And it's important, in all fairness, to understand that he was a shock jock. So some of his behavior in the past is quite questionable because of how the times change, just like Howard Stern's behavior, and as far as not doing anything but saying things that are inappropriate today that weren't inappropriate back then. So with that, so history doesn't look good on him. That being said, when he reached out to me, and he knows this story, and I've said this story, but I think it's fair because I think, I believe in second chances, and Morbid is not the person that he was, but there are people that are trying to perpetuate something that isn't true about him. And it's gotten worse because of AI and such. Here's the thing. If that behavior was true, Morbid has always said, call the police. You know who I am. If there was something that I did inappropriate or wrong, he said, yeah, it was in bad taste. And for that, I apologize, and since then, I haven't seen him. There's things that he does that I don't necessarily agree with, but I think that's an age thing too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's an age thing. And I'm not going to co-sign that or participate in that on his panel, but I'm still going to get on his panel because there are things about him that I do like, that I do agree with. But but there are things that they're not supposed to appeal to people my age, to be honest with you. So that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you looked at his analytics, it's not 62-year-old women. It's, his analytics is going to be for a different, the reason why I think I'm there is because I was also a drugs counselor. I was also somebody that worked in a jail. All of these things scream out, growth, man. If you're going to grow, I'm all for that. I'm going to support that. I love that, And if there's a common bond to bring us together, which was Gypsy Rose. He's an audio snob. We will say that because you have to have he makes sure that your audio is perfect. So, but that's a joke. But
Yeah.
he does. He's very, he's very technical, and he's been around YouTube for a while. He's very helpful. He's got a really good heart. He's a good guy, and he gave second chances too. But he does. His thing is, this is what I think. He's very passionate about what he feels passionate about, and he's very passionate about Dee Dee Blanchard and her legacy and how she was treated. And he doesn't really feel sorry for Nick. He feels like, well, even if Nick didn't do it, he thinks he did it. I feel the same way, but I want to fight for Nick to get a second chance at a trial, but I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, he doesn't want to spend the energy on that. He wants to spend the energy on letting everybody know who Dee Dee is, and by knowing what a piece of crap her daughter is.
Yeah, I think that's what the live was about that I was watching. Now that you said that, I think they were lighting candles for Dee Dee or something.
So it was the memorial. It was the memorial.
Yes, that's what it was. Right.
So that's who he is. But I like him. I think that, I kind of like his style. I like edgy. I don't always say, I used to laugh at Howard Stern. Like, that's still inside of me a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The times have changed. I still laugh greatly at Archie Bunker, at, All in the Family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that makes me a horrible person. The times have changed, but you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I like Morbid. So that's who he is. And he's somebody that is covering, he's dedicated for the Dee Dee Blanchard for that. And he lets that be known. But he also has started to put out some videos about other crimes that he knows about, like the Watts case. And he's got a second channel, and that's Sir Morbid, MERBIT.
Okay.
And but he does live streams. The Sir Morbid channel also has some videos, but that one does live streams like every other night for a few hours. They start about, I want to say that they start around 10 or so at night, Eastern Standard Time, because it's usually on my way to work. Yeah. And he has a great voice. People are saying he has a great voice. Yes, he does. You heard him.
Definitely.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree. He's got a radio voice, definitely.
Yes,
I just figured I'd ask you. I always run everything by you because you've been around here. So I always ask, like, oh, is this one good? Should I be watching this? Should I, I never know.
You might not care for him, but I think the underlying thing is very positive.
Right.
He pokes fun at looks and stuff like that, but he didn't start it, but he's not letting go of it either.
Right.
And, he's a lot more clever than them. So when he says it, I got to tell you, there's some wit behind it. And sometimes I laugh, even when I think maybe I shouldn't laugh. So,
Right.
So anyway, so guys, I wanted to share something with you that I shared with Rebecca that's more on our topic. And I was waiting for a little bit more like, people coming in here. And yes, he does call people out on their lies. Morbid, yeah, he wants to. Yeah, that's a whole other story, and I'm definitely behind it. Where there's been some murk thrown into the Gypsy Rose case, which has caused confusion in what's true and what's not true. So, yeah, so I appreciate that. But anyway, this thing that I wanted to share, I need to get it. It was something that I shared with Rebecca, and it's about struggles, and yeah, I'm gonna just show it to you guys because I think you know who this person is. It's a huge channel. It's Mark Lada's channel, Soft White Underbelly. You guys know who he is in the chat? Anybody? Tell me while I look for this. Tell me why you cried. Hang on. And why you lied to
of having your parents, your biological parents, very well. And
okay, guys, this is Mark Lada, and his channel is Soft White Underbelly. And I'm going to have to interrupt this a lot because Mark has already had an issue with me using some of his stuff because he follows a family called the Whitakers, Rebecca. Okay. This is cool. Go to my channel. Toddie One Skip issues with, and go to my playlist, The Whitakers. Just for a little introduction, Mark has amazing pictures. Mark's the one that introduced them to social media, but mainstream social media. You know what I'm saying? And that's an Appalachian family, an inbred Appalachian. Is it Appalachian? Appalachian family, inbred. So fascinating. But his channel, he's going to tell you what his channel is about. So this is unfortunately, it's really sad, but it relates. So we're ready for it. Okay, let's go.
I didn't know, and this is a late night thing because I go to bed so early. She's staying up later. She'd probably do every night. And
so let me just give you context, guys. So Mark had a girlfriend for about 2.5 years. She was much younger than him, but they had an amazing relationship, and they didn't live together. He met her mother. He met this woman, because she reached out to him and said, "Would you please interview my mom?" His channel interviews drug addicts, Rebecca, and he tells the story while he takes pictures of them. And he can take some really beautiful pictures. And he basically does what this channel, what I wanted this channel to do, hopes of bringing people that we wouldn't really know into light and to tell their story. So he does that with great photography and videos now. And he's really a very talented photographer. But he was with this woman, and she passed away, unfortunately, because of drugs. And unfortunately, he finds her. So, and he never knew that she was using. And so let's listen again. I'm going to have to keep interrupting this because of copyright infringement. But
right.
Yeah, this is Mark Lada's Soft White Underbelly.
another thing that's important, so it looks like an overdose then once you see that. But in her family, there are 3, I think they're all female, 3 women that died of myocarditis. Myocarditis is where the lining of your heart, and I think it enlarges and your heart stops. So 3 of her relatives, close relatives, passed away from myocarditis. One more young relative had a pacemaker put in. So myocarditis and mixed together, I was reading about it on the internet, is really just like it's a recipe to how to stop your heart. And my guess is that's probably what happened in this case.
So they didn't find any fentanyl because I guess they tested that. They found a joint. He found a joint. He knew that she smoked weed. He's never even smoked, he says. Wow. And but he knew that she did, but there was white powder inside of it, which was cocaine. And what he finds out is that his friends knew about this, but he comes to the assumption of why, and this is why. So I know, guys, like I did this, I've never done this before where I actually did the video. I usually go on YouTube and stream it, but you can't stop it like I could stop it here. So this is new. So if I did this wrong, I'm sorry. So, okay, let's go.
That's almost like a side detail because she has a 3-year-old child. She has a great life, a great future ahead of her, a great boyfriend that's supporting her in every way. There's no reason to pick.
He's talking about himself here. So here he's saying she's got a great life. She's got a 3-year-old. He was paying all of her bills, but it wasn't that type of relationship. He was helping her. He loved her. He was in love with her and she with him. And for 2.5 years, So he's trying to wonder why.
Pick up a There's no reason to pick up any like that when your life is going smoothly. And I've been, of course, thinking about this nonstop since it happened. Not sleeping. It's hard. And
soul crushing.
Yeah, so soul crushing is the word.
It's the last thing we thought that was going to.
Everybody, like the last thing, like her parents were her adopted parents. So she was, her biological mom is a homeless Christian addict. She never met her father. Doesn't even know who her dad is, biological dad. She was adopted by this.
So again, I got to stop this. So what it is that this woman, her parents, not a clue who her dad is. She does not know. I don't even know that the mother knew.
Wow.
The biological mom was a drug addict that he took pictures of for her own interview, and that's how he met the daughter, because it was the daughter that, you know, reached out to him about it.
Right.
They made a connection, and like he knew that there were people in her family that had this this heart condition, and he's questioning, why would you take that chance with everything that you have? You know what I mean? Like, and you had said that there's, because we ask ourselves, why isn't it enough? Like when we talk about celebrities and, you know, like, what does it take? Why? And we talk about where pain is. So this is what he's like exploring in this video.
Married couple, and they saved her life. They loved her. They raised her. They did a great job. She's a wonderful person because of them. But the scar of having your parents, your biological parents, both decide to not even bother with you. We don't want to, like, dad doesn't even want to see you. He doesn't want to know you. I'm not interested. Mom is going to be like, you know, I got better things to do. That's a scar that
Doesn't go away.
Doesn't go away. It's such a deep wound that I think you have to look at that and be like, and then so I find some things out in talking with her friends. Like, started about 3-4 months ago. And she would always say, I will never do these kind of because of my mom. She would always say that. That's why I didn't even suspect that there could be anything like that going on. She would always say that. So I'm like, well, it couldn't be that.
Isn't that something like the least he would, not in a million years did he suspect this? And I mean, he was constantly in her life, even though they didn't live together. You know, he was very much in her life. And like, can you relate to any of this, Rebecca? I know it was a different relationship with you and your son. Anybody in the chat? I do want to continue this on, but anybody in the chat that can, Rebecca, anybody want to converse about this?
Well, real quick, I'll just chime in. With Gino, my son, you know, when someone he knew would pass away, or someone, you know, from rehab, he'd been in several, and, you know, they would all stay connected on Facebook. And he would get a message, oh, so-and-so passed away, whatever. And I'd say to him, oh, now, if that doesn't show you what this can do. And he, oh, Mom, I'm not stupid. I'm not doing that anymore. I know, you know, it was always, I wouldn't do that because I lost this person or I lost that person, but yet he was still doing it. You know, they just convince you that they're fine. And sometimes I think we just need to believe that just to, you know, go on. But I get what he's saying. Like, I would never do that because of my mother. And, you know, I would hear that from Gino. I wouldn't do that because I lost so-and-so or this, you know.
Right.
But yet he was still doing it. So.
I'm looking in the chat here. Something happened. Jeanette, I'm sorry for a loss. Apparently there was a loss somewhere. So there's a few things in the chat here. Or if you aren't expecting, you won't see it coming. My ex I got on someone started acting crazy society. I don't know who Ruth. Hi, Ruth. Correct me if that happened to me. I'm sorry for your loss. Something with Jeanette. I'm sorry about that. It only made me strive to never be like her. Exactly. There are two ways we can look at people: what we learn, what to do from them, and what we learn, what not to do from them. So let's continue on a little bit with Mark here for a second.
Never be an option, but apparently it became an option.
She didn't give any inclination to this. I mean,
she hid it from me. I was also supporting her financially. I was, you know, paying her rent and stuff like that. So you don't want to disappoint that person who's your kind of, you know, support system. And I understand there's good and bad that comes with those kind of relationships, but it is what it was. So when your life is so sweet, you have a beautiful kid. He's a great young man, just 3 years old and sweet and fun and playful and just cute as can be. You have a boyfriend who's supportive and loves you to death. You have a great relationship with him. You have a great future. You have a great life. You should have a really great life. But if you're psychic.
So now, now he is the boyfriend. So I don't know what her side of that is. I'm not blaming Mark at all. I just want to be fair and saying that he's not talking about his daughter, saying that, she had a great boyfriend. He's talking about himself. So there's biases there. So, and you also have to remember that Mark says that he didn't do any drugs. I'm not saying that any of this is Mark's fault at all. I'm saying that this is the situation. It's too bad that she couldn't share with him that she was experiencing something and had started using again, because Mark had never experienced that. He only experienced that when he would share stories. I don't think, because I think at one point Mark says that he never, I'm not saying that listen, if somebody was using, I think this woman might have been gone long before, and it might have been a lot worse. It's horrible what happened, and there's no blame on the peripherals here. And it's just incredibly sad. It really is, because what he's saying is the same thing I said about Jen. The world doesn't know what they missed. You know what I mean?
How long ago did his girlfriend pass? Do you know?
This was only, I think, within the last week.
Oh, goodness.
This is new. This is a new video. Yeah. This is, yep. So we'll continue on.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Jeanette, she's saying his attitude and opinions seem a little bit self-serving. He might be in the, oh my God, what could I have done stage? And he doesn't, and that's his own defenses saying. So I think that I'm going to take him at his word that he was very loving and such, and that because I think that he is thinking, oh my God, how did I miss this? What could I have done? I think that that's just something he's going through as a human being. And I think that's better than Gypsy, who doesn't take any responsibility. Mark, I think, was looking back at any responsibility and just couldn't find anything. But I don't know. It was not the F word, Cherokee. It was not.
I think maybe people are misunderstanding him because he's saying, I paid her rent. And maybe people are taking that the wrong way. He's saying it like, what could have gone wrong? She was taken care of. He's not saying it in, I get how
he's saying that her life was a lot easier than others.
Right.
And that looking in, you wouldn't think that she was struggling with anything.
Right.
And that's what he's saying. He's not saying anything. I just brought to the attention that because some of you come in late, that while he was saying a super great boyfriend or a good boyfriend, that he was in fact talking about himself. And I thought it was fair to say that. That's all. That's the only reason why I mentioned it. Otherwise, I like Mark Leda. I like Mark. Brought people. He's done exactly what hoping that this channel does, is at least a part of this channel, but I don't want to do the videos. Mark is much more experienced than me. I want people to send me their videos and tell me their story. Right. They can interview, and then we'll show the video, and the video stays on with the interview indefinitely. That's what I want for the legacy of that. So, all right, so let's continue on. Is that okay? Okay, Rebecca?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Are you okay with this?
I'm perfectly fine with it.
The name of his channel is Soft White Underbelly. So yeah, and his name is Mark Leda. All right, so let's check this out. Let's keep going.
Your subconscious, your deep view of yourself from your parents' treatment of you is that I'm worthless. That they don't even want to know me. They don't want to raise me. They don't want to do with me. That's a scar that just is hard to repair. Which is why this is why I'm talking about this on camera, because this is what my channel is about. More than anything, people think it's a channel. It's not a channel. People think it's about this, that, or the other. It's not about any of these things. It's really about how important it is to be a parent, a great parent, a loving, unconditional, being able to love your kids unconditionally is the most important thing that will ever happen to a person in their lives. Just being present, even if you're not the best parent, at least be present, be there, and let them know that you care. Show up to their Little League game or their volleyball game or their whatever.
Just have dinner together.
Have dinner together, something. But that.
So to me, I think the most important thing, and I think we spoke about this last week, was to matter, knowing that we matter. So Mark, I think, is saying sometimes when we show we matter, it's an inconvenience for our time, but we make time. And that currency is priceless, because time is something you don't get back.
Exactly.
This is something that I struggle with personally, and not that I want to get into it, but when I was in a position financially to help financially, I did.
Right.
But I don't even like think back on that. It was when it took of my soul and my time and my energy, and that wasn't appreciated. The money was, but the other stuff wasn't, and that stuff you can't get back, and that does damaging things. And it's so important. It is so important to know how damaging that is. You have to show. I love my mom. You know, she still has problems with things in the day, even though, you know, she has her boyfriend now and they're together, but I have to stop sometimes and make time, you know, and that currency isn't always right. It's always recognized by her, but it's not always recognized by others. And it's like, oh, well, just ask Toddie. Just ask Toddie. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's sad because you're taking away something that makes somebody special. You're putting absolutely no value on that. And when you don't make time to get to know your child, how could they possibly feel like they matter at all?
Right.
You know, my dad was very good at knowing his kids. My mom's not so much growing up. She'll tell you too. My dad very much. My mom not so much. But as we got older, you know, and as my mom got older, that changed. You know, now, yeah, she's all up in your shit. But you have anything to add on that, my friend?
I'm just reading some of the comments. You know what people are saying about Mark. You know,
I feel like I got something in my hair. I'm sorry.
Oh, you know, I think this is.
Oh, I did. I did. Sorry.
Oh, goodness. You know, people are saying he didn't seem to have like an emotional connection to this girlfriend. It was more financial. And I don't think we can say that about him. The man is grieving. He's having, you know, thoughts. Could he have done more? I'm sure this is going, I know from my own experience. And he's also on an interview right now. Somebody's interviewing him. He's not just sitting there alone. So you're going to act different. And I don't think we can judge on his posture and all that, you know, that he's not, you know, emotionally connected to this person that he lost. I think people are misreading that, you know, and we should give him a little slack here. It's new to him. And I totally get where he's coming from. It's been several years for me losing Gino, and I still sit and wonder, should I, what, you know, and when I talk about it to certain people, I may look different or represent myself, you know, so we can't really judge on just the way he's sitting there and talking that, you know, there's a disconnect. I don't think that's fair for us to say.
I agree.
Anyway,
I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that, and said so well. Okay, let's.
That's why I'm working so hard. That's why I put out all these videos. That's why I do this work, so that hopefully people will figure this out. And this just hits so close to home for me because I've never smoked. I don't do anything that is like this. So to have it come into my life is just like, it doesn't, like, how did this happen?
It's still sinking in.
Still sinking in. But I think she just kind of had this really great life with me. Everything was cool. But there's a part of her that just believes that she's worthless, like her parents. Because the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. You don't end up with a self-worth that is drastically different than your parents. We turn into our parents in a lot of ways. I know there are people who break out of that and become better than their parents, and there are some people that do the opposite. But
I agree with that. I agree with that statement there. I do.
yeah.
In general, you have to factor that in heavily because it just will color who you become. Probably more than anything else. If your parents' self-worth is in the gutter, as her parents were,
I think it's got to be hard to have a child when she must have been thinking about her parents and why they weren't in her life. Constantly, which is maybe why she did turn to this alternative lifestyle to see what it was like.
Well, you said something the other day, because we talk about this now daily.
Yeah. Just healing, trying to get through it.
You said it might be some kind of attempt to reconnect with her mom.
I did say that.
She never sees it.
Yeah. Like to try to understand, why is this more important than me?
So, you know, I can relate to that because Hi, Renelle. I can relate to that because I remember that I felt that way about Jen. I felt like she was trying to relate to her mom with the drinking, to be honest with you.
Right.
So I can understand that. Anyway, I'm going to have to shut the volume sometimes because they're mowing as usual on Mondays, or we're doing this, but this is only going to last for, I don't think it's going to, anyway. Yeah, so let's continue onward.
Well, the crazy thing for me, you got a 3-year-old child. She loves her child. She loves her boy. You're going to decide to pick up cocaine, which could lose that kid in a flash.
In a flash.
In a flash.
Inevitably. How are you going to get through this without a consequence? It's baffling. It's baffling.
Yeah. So she started using more and more and more. It sounds like she had a scar around her nostril from using so much when she passed. And when I found her in the bathtub, there was blood all around her nose, underwater. So clearly that's from a lot of use.
That's just so hard.
Yeah, it's killing me.
Of all the things for you to find, too. Someone you love, underwater. I mean, not knowing that she had a problem. This definitely hits home like the...
So the woman is this woman over here on the left. Do you see my pointer at all?
I do not.
Okay, so it's the woman that's closest to us. That's the girl. That's the girl. That's the woman. That's
beautiful.
The woman in the middle apparently is Mark's ex-wife, and I don't know who the other woman is. But anyway, let's continue on.
Channel for sure, because I think, well, I read emails every day. Not my kid, and this, my parents never knew. I'm functioning this. There's a lot of problems going on that people aren't wanting to talk about clearly.
Yeah, I mean, there are things going on that she probably wouldn't talk with me, as I mentioned earlier. One of her close friends, told me that she said that she had taken to driving on the freeway when she's going to her mom's house or whatever, her adopted mom's house, and closing her eyes while she drives.
So imagine that. Imagine that. So he's trying to make sense of, she has a 3-year-old child that she adores. Now, the kid's not in the car with her, so we're not going to go there. But how her life, she could be so careless with her life, knowing that there's somebody that she adores who's counting on her.
Yeah, but you know what, though? That addiction is so strong. We don't know because we haven't, most of us, or a lot of us.
There's more than that. There's mental health things going on there.
And,
sure.
It's, you can still love your children and care for them and want to take care of them, but you need to do that. And some people will tell you, I have to do my drugs or I can't be a good parent. That's what gets me through the day. People will say things like that. We don't understand it because we don't suffer from that issue. And I don't think Mark fully understands because he said he's never experienced this. He's never done a drug in his life. So, of course, it's hard to understand it. We don't understand it. My son died. I still don't understand addiction fully. That's why I like doing this show with you. I'm learning a lot.
Well, let me tell you something about Mark. Did you sneeze?
No, I coughed. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, God bless you. Don't be sorry for coughing. When you go, I know that you're going to look at this channel, and I recommend you guys looking at Mark's channel, those that don't know who he is or aren't familiar with his channel, and check out the interviews that he's done with drug addicts. He's very well known for 2 things. And unfortunately, I think this is going to be a third, but he interviewed the Whitakers, which is the inbred family, the Appalachians. Like, he brought them, he has videos that has millions of views, and he's done beautiful photos of this inbred family that is really not a good looking family at all. But yet he has done beautiful photos of them. And I mean, and he brought their story, and he had GoFundMe for them. I mean, so I like Mark. I think Mark's a good guy. He's gone under controversy. I'm not talking about that. The man lost somebody that he loved, and he found the person. So, yeah. But I forgot where I was going with this. But so he is somebody that is interviewed and spoken with so many people that have suffered addiction and loss. He works so with the homeless. Like, I mean, if you look at his channel, I know that you will. I think even though he was listening to these people's stories, you know, just like as much as I would, if not even more, as a rehab counselor, he was as a photographer. I mean, if you really see that, and I think he's thinking, wow, why didn't I see it? There's so much going on with him. You know what I'm saying? Like that he probably had this false sense of security that he knew what to look for. You know, he's interviewed people. He knows a lot more than us. You don't know. Sometimes it's blind and you don't know. And if she only did start using 3 or 4 months ago, that's not a lot of time to figure something out when you figure there's no problem and you're ignorant to a problem. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we got to give Mark grace as far as I think. Hey, J Bobs, Kathleen Flack, Pippa Dot, Milk Honey and Mayhem. Mm-hmm. I do say bless you when my dogs sneeze. Yeah, you got making fun of me. Okay, let's listen more.
Which makes no sense.
Well, it's like you have this, you know, she used to be, when she was a kid, she has all the scars on her left arm from, and you're driving and closing your eyes for a bit. Nothing happened from it, but like, why are you doing that? What's that all about? And then picking up, when you got a 3-year-old and you got a great life and everything is cool and you know the problem because you saw it what happened with your mom, you're going to choose to do that.
And we talk about it a lot here because it's what we do on the daily. It's just a strange, it still doesn't make sense. We're still.
No.
Okay, so here's where Mark and I, maybe he said it wrong or maybe he believes it. I don't think it's a choice. Again, if the tree is diseased and you pick all the fruit off of it, the tree itself is still diseased. You got to get to the tree. So all of the peripherals, all of the branches seem nice and pretty and everything like that. But inside it's decaying and it can't help itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really very sad in that.
It doesn't make sense, but I'm trying to.
He's trying to make sense of something that, I mean, that doesn't make sense. And I know that you, Rebecca, have struggled with that because of Corey. Right. It doesn't make sense. Right. And, you know, and it's different. Don't get me wrong. It's a grandson, and I don't want to at all do the comparison. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean it as that. I mean it as how that's a commonality. That's a commonality, that bit of it.
Right.
Sense of it and what I just mentioned.
I mean, I chalk it up to her. She was a little younger, so you know, when I was younger, as we said, it's like we're so stupid when we're young. We're just stupid. We don't think about stuff when we're young until you have to sometimes. So, do you? How are you? Can you
I'm
share?
Struggling. I'm just struggling. I'm sure I'm resilient, and I'm sure I'll get through this and get over it and carry on as usual. But you know, people have said, "Oh, you should take a break." If I take a break, I sit around and just cry and stare at the wall. So working helps, but I don't have the same drive that I used to. It's just kind of sad to do anything right now. But work is helping. I go to the gym a lot now, and it just kind of like keeps my mind.
And it's healthy for you to take some time right now to just listen to your body and go at the pace that makes sense to you. That's part of when we deal with.
Self-worth is like the core.
So that's the woman. She's beautiful. Very pretty girl. Very, very pretty woman. And so, you know, again, he's trying to make sense of the unsensible right now. And you know, and I'm sure 100% he's very concerned about her 3-year-old.
Right. And you know what, though? He's searching for an answer that he's never going to get.
Right.
You're not going to ever get that answer. We'll never understand it because we haven't gone through it.
Right. Yeah. Well, not only that, I mean, like, after you get the answer, you still have the problem. It didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? It's like
what the problem is with the story, I think. And self-worth is not inherited, but it's kind of like transferred from the parent to the child in a lot of ways. There are people who've broken free of that. But
if she could hear you right now, what would you say to her?
Oh my God!
Look at how pretty. I mean, you know what I'm saying? A very, very pretty woman who seemed very confident. You know, she comes across that way. Yes.
Yeah.
It's all right. I mean, just it's okay.
What's that?
It looks like she had it all, a great life, but that doesn't matter to someone dealing with what she was dealing with.
If she was broken inside, just like the tree. I mean, if you've got the damage, the decay going on inside, then, you know, you still got the stuff going on inside.
Got to get to the root of the problem before you can, yeah.
Yep.
Hey, to have this, look at your mom. It's under.
Somebody said beauty doesn't conquer pain. No,
it's explainable why you did this. It's really just about self-sabotage. To me, it's a story of self-sabotage. Because if you want to keep your child, don't pick up. It's going to take that kid away. You know?
See, now he's talking about rationalization, and there's no rationality in that. So you got to take that off the table. That's where you're not like he's trying to understand. And he's trying to make it as black and white as possible. And that's a defense for anybody, not just for Mark. I mean, we want to understand so that we can prevent it from happening again and make sure that we didn't do anything to cause it. And better yet, didn't see any of the signs that we should have stopped it. We have, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that isn't anything less than somebody feels about somebody. That's just what happens. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just the cycle of it. So that's where he's at. And, you know, he's trying to make sense of, like you said, something that you're not going to make sense of. There's no answer that's going to ever be good enough because you don't even want the answer. You just want them back. It's, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and unless they told you the answer, you're not going to know what the answer is, because even if they told somebody else, you know what I'm saying? You're going to transfer to, well, if that's true, why didn't you say something? You could have stopped them. And all the anger goes to them, and it still doesn't go to the problem. You know what I mean? The problem is somebody's mental health. And unfortunately, not only did they have you fooled, they had themselves fooled. You could bet they had themselves fooled.
Yep.
So you can't take it personally. But it's easy to say when you don't find somebody and you're not in the relationship at the time.
Right.
A flash, you know, because anything could happen, and they find out that you're using or whatever, they'll take that kid away, and that's it. I just don't take your loved ones for granted, man. Just treat every day like it's the last day you're going to spend with them. You never know where you're going to see them again. It's just.
That's really important message. Yes.
Most definitely.
But it's going to take that kid away in a flash. You know, because anything could happen, and they find out that you're using or whatever, they'll take that kid away, and that's it. I just don't take your loved ones for granted, man. Just treat every day like it's the last day you're going to spend with them. You never know where you're going to see them again. It's just taught me some things that are hard to handle.
What did you learn about love from all of this? Are you still processing it, or?
Well, I mean, she treated me differently than any of my partners ever did, and I loved the way
she was loved. We all loved her.
Oh, yeah. It was a very interesting relationship we had. It was magical. It felt magical every single day. And it was getting better as it went on. 3 years in, it was better at 3 years than it was at the beginning even. But sometimes when things are too good, you're going to self-sabotage. You give a homeless person a winning lottery ticket, all of a sudden they're a multimillionaire. They're going to be homeless in a year and a half, back on the street, because that's what they believe they deserve. That's why they're on the street in the first place. It wasn't like they lost their job and became homeless. It's because their self-worth went to crap, and that's what they believe they deserve.
Okay, so I believe that's broad, and I don't think he meant that broad, because there are people that legitimately in this world try to make it and live from paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that are one accident away from being homeless or one paycheck away from being homeless. So that's true. So, and I understand there's a lot of anger going on in him, and that's the most angry that I see him right here doing, saying.
This is all very new too. This, you know, I mean, he's going to go through ups and downs, and, you know, he's got a long road ahead of him, and it doesn't, I hate to say this, but I don't think it gets better, you know?
Right.
At least in my case, it didn't.
Yours was your grandson, and I'm not saying, and again, the non-comparison, he is, and you know, it's not like your grandson, and he recognizes that because he does make a statement. But guys, I'm going to stop this with Mark simply because you guys should check it out, because the beginning of the video, he celebrates her. So I want you to hear that. The part that I want you to please see that, because that's her story and he tells it beautifully, and you should watch it on his channel and give him the views. I just wanted to share with you what we talked about and have talked about, what is it that happens to people? How do they, because we talked about celebrities last week, you know what I'm saying? And certainly this woman was not a celebrity or anything like that. And her pain was real and everything on the surface looked great. And she had so much that she had so much to live for, so much to be happy about. And yet, homelessness is an epidemic in this country. Yep. Yes, I agree. I agree. Yeah. Oh, I agree. Sorry, I had emergency. It's terrible in this country right now. I was just talking to somebody about that. I mean, it's terrible. I don't want this to be political, just like I don't want the other channel. What I'm talking about is the blows we take in life that make us susceptible to using something to help us feel better. Or, I mean, that's what it was. So he feels like she passed because of that that enlarged heart that many people in her family had. And because when you do that drug, so that's sad. It's very sad. I feel the same way. RL, I feel the same way. Yeah, look, I have VA care, says Cherokee. I know, man, I know. Medicare, all these people, Medicare Advantage, Medicaid, all of them, it's so bad because I know they don't cover it. And I had somebody that just retired from work and they have to pay $300 a month extra, I guess, for the Medicaid, is it? Right? And
Medicare, probably.
I don't know. Is that they get, well, yeah, but isn't there one? So there is none for free anymore, right? Was it ever for free? I thought it was.
I think Medicaid was free. Medicare is usually when you're
that's the
65 and older, or Medicare also if you're disabled, you get that automatically no matter what age. So, but Medicaid is the one that you don't have to pay for. Most people, I guess, don't pay for.
That's for the really poor people, right? I guess.
Yeah, I guess for those with no income. But, even with that.
Medicare is for a senior. And somebody's saying Medicare is $100. I know somebody's paying $300 a month for something here because they're taking it out of Social Security. They're taking it right out of her Social Security.
I'm disabled and on Medicare now because of my disability, and they take, I believe it's $178 a month out of my check, and I still have copays for different things. So I'm grateful to have the insurance. Don't get me wrong, but you still pay. It's not 100%.
Yeah. Wow. I remember when I worked in the jail, my stepson, because such a long story, but more or less adopted him. And we had the paperwork so that he was under my insurance. And even every time I got paid, there was money taken out for him and me. It was so minimal, but we had coverage. The coverage was great. There was no copays, and not even medication. It was unbelievable back in the day. Yeah, it's expensive to be poor. That's why I want to leave this country in a few years, if not before. I'm gonna go bye. Yep, I will do. We'll see. I've had a few subscribers offer me places to stay around the world. Don't think that I wouldn't take you up on it, people.
Wow.
Seriously. Somebody was saying I have one medication for $6,500 a month. I believe that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pay for that. I would think that you don't, in that your insurance does, but how they expect people to pay for that.
Yeah. I have a really expensive one, but I only have to pay, thank God, $17 and change a month. And I believe it's probably an $1,800 a month medication. So
why would somebody make something so expensive for people that they need? I just don't get that. It's all discombobulated and upside down. Somebody's watching from Belfast.
Oh, nice.
How's medical there, my friend? How's the medical there? How's the medical in Belfast? Food pantries and sliding scale drugstores. Yep. Still waiting to find out how medical is in Belfast and how the English is. Many seniors are moving to France. I didn't care for France. I hate to say it. I'm sorry. I can't live there. I don't want to live there. They were kind of rude people. And it's expensive to live in France. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
There's a few posts on YouTube. They're buying homes and get their health care way cheaper. But France is expensive. I've seen I've seen Portugal. I've seen, what is it? Is Macedonia? Which one is it? North or South Macedonia? I've seen Belfast. I have seen Belfast. I've seen Romania. Well, yeah. I've seen Hungary. And I'm Hungarian.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah. So I might actually be able to get there a lot easier because of that as well.
Well, I'm sorry to say the furthest I've gone. Well, I mean, I've gone to
You're
Canada.
buying your farm, lady. You're buying your farm.
I don't get out much. But yeah, now I'll never travel. I won't be able to afford to at this point, but I'm okay with that.
Okay. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I could talk on that, Jeanette Schneider. I used to, at the Arlington Food Bank in Virginia 150 years ago, I was their manager.
Oh, wow.
I left the jail. I think it was after Jen. I'm not 100% sure, but I did the food bank for about a year. And they are allowed to hand out expired food to a certain point. You know, if it's 10 years expired, you can't really do that, but you can do, I think we had up to a year after the expiration or something like that. And we always wrote that it was expired, like they knew that it was expired. Wow. But there was also some really good stuff we gave away there that was so great. Yeah, I have news for you. I think, Samantha, that's beautiful. I would love to live over in the UK, but it's expensive. It's expensive. I know that you have good medical there, but it's expensive. You still have to pay to live there. You know, I would love to do a narrow boat. I would be so happy on a little narrow boat over there in the UK. Mm-hmm. We'll see. So, but anyway, as always, off topic. We always get off topic.
Right. When I shared the link for today, I think I wrote something about, talking about addiction and everything else I put, because we go everywhere, but that's part of it though.
That's it. That's it. Absolutely. But I think that the Mark Leda video, I think that that's what people do is, I used to reason with, I used to be like, why wasn't I good enough for Jen to stop using? Like, why wasn't what we had good enough? And she kept assuring me that it was, and that she didn't want to leave the relationship. And I was the one that wanted to leave the relationship. And I was like, yeah, but you're giving me an ultimatum without giving me an ultimatum.
Right.
You know, you're not saying take it or leave it. You're showing me take it or leave it. You're not saying, hey, you're not doing, you know. So I just couldn't, you know. But that doesn't make it easier, you know, because you still want to try to fix things for the people you love, for sure.
Right.
I mean, you do. You want to make everything all better. And Mark, I think, thought that he was doing that without realizing. And then he realized, well, why wasn't it enough? I thought I was doing enough. Why didn't she tell me? What did she need more? Like,
Right.
I think that, you know, and that's sad because nobody can answer that question now.
No, we think that if we give them financial stability and you know, help them along the way, that's going to fix everything. So that's why we do it. And then we wonder, well, gosh, I gave them this, I did that. Why, you know, but we don't understand the root of their problem. We're not there. We don't, you know, we can only read and hear other stories. We don't know what that person is thinking and what's going on in their mind and their
Right.
body, actually, you know, the need for that drug.
Right.
We'll never know.
And also we have to understand that even if we understood how we went through it, we wouldn't understand how they went through it.
Right. Everybody's different. Everybody goes through things in a different way.
Yeah.
So we'll never know.
Yeah, I agree. So anything else that we want to talk about this week? Anybody want to come on? All of a sudden I looked up and there was Mark Lade. I'm like, oh, Mark. And then I'm like, nope, not Mark. The picture of Mark. So we're going to get rid of that, guys, because I don't want to play the rest of his video because I think that you should really check it out, where he really starts off and he talks about, you know, how much, you know, his love for her. That's his story. I think he should share that. It sucks when you don't feel loved when you know you are. Absolutely. Absolutely. How do you know you are if you don't feel it? You know?
Exactly.
Well, wait a minute. I knew before my mom knew how to show it. I knew she loved me because she kept telling me, you know what I'm saying? But she learned how to show it later. Did she love me any less back then? I don't think so. I just think that she started learning stuff much later in life.
Right.
And so, like, I could blame my mom. She could blame her mom. Her mom could blame her mom. I mean,
Right.
like, but when do you stop and say fucking enough is enough is enough?
Right.
You know, I'd like to think I did with my nieces and nephews who are all grown ass motherfuckers now. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all you could really do, somebody said that you got to stick up for yourself. You got to do something. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. So I do think that, you know, somebody's saying, I kind of understand my ex used cannabis. It's illegal here, but they wouldn't give it up. And ultimately it broke us up. Yeah. If you got to live like that, and because I know you're from a different country, I mean, I don't know what the punishment is, but if you really got to live like that, I think in Portugal, marijuana is okay from my understanding. Anybody check that out? How come I don't have anybody from Portugal here?
Huh.
Well, here we have 51 people. It's a new channel. We might have people from there.
Oh, maybe.
We talk about canned baked beans. We talk about anything on here. Oh, we're still talking about expired food from the food bank.
Oh boy.
That's funny. That's funny. Have you seen any Gypsy Rose stuff? I put out a video today before I came on.
I didn't get to watch it yet, but I'll definitely look it up. I've been, you know, really preoccupied with all this other stuff, so I haven't really been watching many things. You know, I'll check in for a few minutes, but I don't get to watch a whole show or whatever. So,
are you trying to tell me that you have a life besides watching me on YouTube? That's not okay.
Well, I'm surprised that I do, because for a long time I didn't have, and this was it.
Good for you. Good for you, my friend. Good for you.
I need this.
So have you written a letter this month yet?
I started to do it on Father's Day, but he's not a father. And I was going to put some digs in, like, I guess you got a million Father's Day cards today, not, whatever. But I'm set. Like, it just, I wasn't acknowledging him on Father's Day because he's not. He's a piece of shit. He wasn't a father. He never celebrated a Father's Day. Corey didn't know Father's Day because he only had a mommy, and he knew that. So I didn't write yet. I plan to. I like to shake him up a little bit, and he is getting my letters. I emailed back and forth with someone at the jail, and they confirmed that the letters are coming in. Whether or not he's actually reading them word for word or just, that's on him. They can't tell me that much. They don't know, but they are being reviewed by personnel and forwarded to him. So he is getting them, and that I'm happy just knowing that if he sees an envelope or something with my name on it, I know it screws up his whole day, and that makes me so happy, but I'm going to write. I just like to shake it up a little bit so that he knows what month it is, and he's thinking, I haven't gotten anything from the old witch, I like to catch him off guard. So I'm going to do it soon when he least expects it, sneak up on him kind of thing.
I understand that. He probably was expecting on Father's Day to get something from you, guaranteed.
Yes,
I think so.
And I knew that, so that's why I didn't. And he doesn't deserve my time on such a day because
probably
he's not a father.
Actually, it probably gave him something to think about not getting something. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, not getting something. So.
Yeah. I can remember, I want to say it was I know we're definitely going off topic, but maybe it was the first Christmas that he was in Corey's life. Corey was about 5, and, Brianna was trying to do whatever it took to make sure Corey wasn't getting, abused. So she spent a lot of time at Chris's apartment. And I remember getting, the slippers and the pajamas that match for families at Christmas time. And they might say Mama Bear, Papa Bear, Baby Bear, whatever. So right. I got Bri and Corey, and I said, do I get it for him? Because he was going to be, Corey would be over there. I think it was Christmas Eve and part of Christmas Day, and like they would whatever, but Bri was also going to be there. And I thought about it, and I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, because he didn't deserve that, so we still have Corey's slippers, of course, and the little robe that matched, but I didn't get them for Chris because I never viewed him as Corey's father, even though we knew that he was.
Right.
He just wasn't a dad. I don't know how to explain that. You can call somebody a dad, father, what it doesn't mean they are. And he was not.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that unfortunately, I don't think you have to explain it. I think people know that, he was the sperm that created Corey with, the help of Brianna there, obviously. And that's where it stopped.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
He
didn't want him to be born.
We look like for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was all about optics, which is really sad.
Yeah.
I agree.
But so to answer your question, the letter is coming. I'm just going to sneak it up on him. And of course, I'll let you know. So hopefully we can do what we normally do when it's ready.
Absolutely.
But,
yep.
Wait, who ran their foot over with a mower? Am I catching the end of something?
I kept thinking, okay. So apparently Gypsy did a lawn mowing. She did. Now that I think about it, she did. I didn't watch it, but she did this lawn mowing video where I remember her saying, and this is the lawn mower and it's electric. And I thought, okay, electric mowers don't tend to have a lot of power. But anyway, that's all I thought about. And then I think I walked away. But I remember hearing that. And so people were saying that she did a video about how to mow a lawn, I guess, and they were rating her on how to do that. And I guess she ran over her foot with the mower. They're saying she didn't, and they wanted her to. I don't know.
Oh. I don't wish anything bad to happen to her. I'm not going to say I want her to cut her foot off or anything, but she's another person that I don't wish a day of happiness. she doesn't deserve it. You know, I mean, her mom can't mow the lawn. She's not here. And why isn't she here? You know?
Go ask Gypsy.
I wish she'd talk to me. I guess I'm not in her league. She doesn't want to be my friend. I'm trying to get her attention.
Are you trying to get her attention for real?
I'm trying. I don't get it.
What do you have in common? What do you want to talk to that woman about? I'm just asking.
I want to smack her around a little bit and tell her how to act.
Okay.
You know, shake her a little bit and say, what are you doing?
I hear you. I hear you.
And then I thought maybe some makeup tips because, you know, she's all about the beauty now. So I thought maybe she could help me out a little bit with that. You know, and
no, but I could hook you up with Flawless Nina, the queen of beauty, my Flawless Nina, who also has a great heart. You know, I've seen things people write about her, but no, they're so wrong about who Nina is because when you see her and what she does behind the scenes, but it's not my business to share. If she's not gonna share, you know, the stuff that she does that's helpful and stuff behind the scenes, then there's a reason why, you know. But I think that she's definitely somebody that I see stuff and I gotta bite my, you know, I bite my tongue because again, you know, there's things, it's up to her to share, but I can honestly say that she's been nothing but supportive, helpful, behind the scenes. And I've never even heard her say a bad word about anybody behind the scenes. Seriously, behind the scenes, where she could go off if she wanted to.
right.
So anyway.
I think Gypsy's going to get what's coming to her. I think she hasn't seen the last of the orange jumpsuit or whatever color it was where she was. I really do truly believe that. I think there's legal troubles in her future. I could see that.
Well, Gypsy, as you guys know, I mean, so she's supposedly, so somebody was saying, can we do something the day she gets off probation? Parole. I can't promise that I can do something that day simply because I don't know what I'm doing that day. And I'm in the middle of doing a lot of things. I want to do something today. I was going to do it around noon. I wasn't going to do the whole interrogation, but I wanted to do, you know, like an hour of the interrogation where we just pull it apart with everything that we know now in regards to it. So that's what I was hoping to do today around noon, see who would be ready to come on board and do that, and maybe try to do something. I can't do something every day because there's a lot going on again. But
right.
I don't know. If I can't do it regularly, maybe I shouldn't do it right now. I don't know. So maybe I won't do it at noon today. It's only an hour and 40 minutes away. So maybe I won't. Yeah. Maybe I'll wait until I can schedule something more regular.
Right.
But I want to continue doing this over here.
Yeah. No, I like this. And I think a lot of people found us today, right? I don't know how many are here, but people did find
55 boogers. We got 55 boogers on the wall.
Oh, boy. Oh, speaking of boogers, not that it has anything to do with it, Toddie, but last night we've gotten a lot of rain here, you know? And
right. Yep.
I ran to the store with Brianna and I got home and I went in the house and I changed into my nightgown. Right. I hate having clothes on. Not that you want to hear about this, but anyway, first thing I do, I wash my face. I put my nightgown on, whatever. And I said, oh, I want to take some stuff out to the car because I knew I was going to go to the new house today. And as soon as we get the keys, I'm going in and starting to clean. So I wanted to put like the broom, the mop, you know, stuff in the car. So I'm like, I can go out in my nightgown. Everybody's already seen it a million times around here. So we've had a lot of rain and I have my flip-flops on. And I go out and I throw something in the dumpster and then I go to my car and then I get back in and I'm like, let me wash these few dishes here in the sink, you know? and my leg felt wet on the back. So I'm like, from my flip flops, you splash the rain and stuff. And I reached down and there was a snail or some ungodly creature stuck to the back of my leg. So I fling it off onto the floor, and it was like a snail-like thing. And my son rescued it and put it outside in the bushes. But yeah, so it reminded me of a booger, but it was a snail crawling on my leg.
Is it a snail or a slug?
Is that what it is? I don't know. Yeah, it didn't have a shell, so that would have been a snail, right? So a slug, is that the same thing? It's disgusting. It was on me. It was going to go to bed with me. Can you imagine? I don't know where it would have ended up.
At least it wasn't a leech.
Yeah.
Because then they get attached.
Yeah, he wasn't like attached.
He wouldn't have left you anytime soon. He'd stayed for a while.
I was so disgusted by that, though. I'm like, it can only happen to me. But I thought about it.
Have you ever seen the movie? You've seen the movie Stand By Me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the leech scene?
I don't remember it.
Where they go into the water and they get leeches all over them. And Will Wheaton's character has a leech on his pee-pee.
Oh, my God.
Remember that? And
now it's coming back to me.
And that's the scene, man. That's the scene.
Well, I'm glad this didn't end up on my pee-pee. I could tell you that, because we wouldn't be here today.
Absolutely.
I'd be in the hospital or something.
Getter Snipe says, everybody pick your nose, clap your hands. I love that movie too, PJ Lee. Anyway, I had a slug stuck to my leg when I was 7 years old, and it traumatized me for years and still freaks me out when I think about it.
Oh.
That's what Estiana says. In the UK, they have slugs.
Oh, wow.
I thought only the bad stuff was over here. Supposedly in New Zealand, they have nothing creepy like that. Do you know
really?
That? They have nothing creepy like that. They don't have snakes. They don't have like anything creepy like that, from my understanding. No weird shit. I wouldn't lie to you.
Wow.
I think over in New Zealand, there's like robots over there. I'm not even sure that there's people that actually exist there. It's so beautiful over there. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely so beautiful over there.
Yeah.
To believe that humans could be that. Even in the Netherlands, it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
we have slugs and snails, Estiana says. Okay, cool. Let's all move to New Zealand. Yep, absolutely. Let's go. All right, does anybody have anything to add? Because I'm ready to do some picking and packing, and my friend is going to help me out there. So,
can you send your friend over here when you're done?
I'm saying they don't think they're going to help me out now, but they are.
Oh,
so.
I don't even want to think about what's ahead.
Be very careful with ticks, man. Be very careful. Let me tell you something. I did a video. I wanted to put it up. I might put it up because it's funny. It's about the way I dress. But I want to talk about the way I dress even before I put the video up. So I have two outfits that are sprayed with this tick repellent, and the stuff it lasts for 5 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So I wear two outfits for like 5 weeks. I don't wash them, but I only wear them when I'm walking the dogs, right? So when people see me, a lot of times, like, that's all I'm wearing.
Right.
But of course, because usually when people see me outside, I'm walking the dogs, you know what I'm saying? But because I don't like go to the store like that and stuff, because the stuff does have tick repellent and stuff on it. But
right.
So I did like Red Valentine was like, I don't know why she did this to me either, but she said that she was telling people that I like Justin Bieber, and I wasn't like, can you hear me?
I can.
So it's red up there.
Oh, I see that. What's that mean?
I don't know.
Now it's not red anymore after you touched
I
it.
hit the button. I hit that. But can you hear me better now?
Yeah, now I can.
But you heard me before. Was it any better?
I could hear you before. It sounded like you moved away from the mic, but now it's back to normal.
Oh, okay. Because nobody said anything. Thanks, guys. You ain't even listening. So, anyway, so she said that she had shared that I like Justin Bieber, And I was like, I do. I think he's got a great voice. I really do think he has a nice voice. And it's sad about what's going on with him. So I was watching a video of him like arguing with paparazzi, saying, you know, I'm a human being. I'm a dad. You know, I'm a husband. Like, you're right by my car. Leave me alone. And he was dressed very much like I'm dressed. And I said to myself, you know, there's an excuse to why I'm dressed like this. I mean, I'm fucking old, you know, and there's tick repellent on here. I mean, it'd be so much easier for him to get dressed up than it would be for me to get dressed up. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, I kind of dress like Justin Bieber, I guess.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
Only because of that. Yeah. So yeah. You had to be there. It's one of those things you had to be there.
Yeah.
Anyway. So anybody else have anything to say? I swallowed a fly in a bar talking to a guy. Old days. This times I remember. PJ.
Do you know somebody swallowed a fly? I paid my cousin $20 to eat a lightning bug once, and she actually did it. We were bored.
I don't even know what they look like except when they light up. I've seen them. They're a little tiny. They're like gnat size, like tiny
little bit bigger, and they have these wings, and then the light is like on their butt, I guess, if I'm correct. And we were just sitting outside, and I said, Deb, I'll give you $20 if you catch one of those and eat it. And she's like, all right. And she did. And I was like, I guess I did give her the $20 after a while, but yeah. So.
Oh, you didn't give it to her right away? I'd have been.
No.
I didn't give me that money.
Nope. I made her wait a little bit, but I mean, it was that same day, but just not right away. Cause then I made her sit there and think, why did I do this? But yeah. That's what we do for entertainment at my age. It wasn't that long ago. So
oh my goodness, it wasn't that long ago.
Maybe 5 years ago.
One day, but I don't think so.
It was about 5 years ago.
Okay. Still not that long ago.
Yeah, around that same time, I also told my sister we were in Walmart, and they have these big freezers where you can buy a bag of ice. And I said, Denise, if you sit in that freezer for a minute, I'll give you $50. And she went and did it. I didn't give her the $50 though. And people were staring at her because she got in the freezer and sat on the ice.
You're a bad person. You're bad. You are, you're a bad influence.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll admit it. I make people eat bugs, sit on ice.
Wow.
Yep, that's me. That's what we do for fun around here.
Oh my goodness.
Back when I used to
never take a bet with you, Rebecca.
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
It says that RL says, okay, we will never take a bet with you, Rebecca.
Well, sometimes I pay, sometimes I don't. It depends. But it's all fun. That's all.
And they asked if that woman's poop was lit up.
I don't know. I wasn't there for the grand finale, I guess.
I was there when she coughed, her ass lit up. Remember? She lit that fire, she lit the cigarette for the guy.
Oh, what was I going to say? I'm trying to think. I think of things and then they go away.
Somebody says they love your sense of humor, Rebecca.
Oh, good. Stick around. It gets better.
What happened?
I'm trying to keep up with the chat. I can't do both. I don't know how you do that. I can't read and focus. I get lost.
I worked in a jail.
Oh, yeah. So you had to multitask.
Well, I worked with kids.
Yeah.
In a rehab. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to do the interrogation and when I'm going to do it. I was going to do it today, but I can't commit to doing it. So, let me get settled. I'm doing videos about it. So, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I just am afraid to make a schedule that I can't keep up with right now.
You know what? You just pop on when you're ready. Your followers are going to follow. They'll be on. You do it when you can.
Yeah.
We're moving, man. We're busy.
We're moving. Movers and shakers here. Movers and shakers.
Yeah.
But I might do it on this channel. So guys, please, 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 please like, subscribe, and hit the bell on this channel. You could ring my bell. Yep.
Boy. Well, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to go because I have to get to the bank. So
very good, and congratulations.
Thank you, and congratulations to you. We're both doing this at the same time. Isn't that something?
Isn't that weird? Yeah, it is, and I think that's wonderful, and I can't wait. I can't wait for you to get chickens and goats and hens,
you know,
and little baby non-growing pygmy. You want a pygmy pig?
Yeah,
See, pygmy pig.
A little pocket pig or whatever. I don't know what they call them, but a little one.
Pygmy pig is what it is.
Yeah, it might be. I want to be able to take it like in the store. You know how you take your dogs to this, you know, your working animal, service animal to the store. I want to be able to do that with the pig. See if I can get away with it.
It depends if they snort a lot. If they snorted a lot, probably not a restaurant would be good. No.
Yeah, probably not. Especially if there's like pork chops and stuff, the pig might get upset. But I found out with the chickens though, because I'm looking into it more. They eat the bugs and stuff out of the yard or ticks.
They do. They eat ticks. Absolutely. That's
so that was like a plus. You know,
I told you that, Rebecca Mitchell.
Oh, you probably did, but Toddie, I don't absorb a lot. You know, my mind is. I'm working on that. I have a lot of issues with absorbing and that's not even the right word. See, I can't even think of the word I'm looking for, but you know, I don't retain a lot. Sometimes I have to go back and re-listen.
Right.
You probably did tell me. Maybe that's where I think I heard it from then.
Yeah, they definitely do. They eat ticks and fleas, and I mean, they eat shit. They're good, man. They're good.
No, that's what I was thinking. That'll be great, you know, to help with that because I don't like the ticks and the bug thing and all that. So
that's right.
But I'm excited.
Cool beans.
I'm excited.
All right, man. Well, have a good one. Congratulations. Hit me up and let me know how it went when it's official.
I'll
paperwork.
We do that in a little while, and then I'll also let you know when my letter is done to that piece of shit.
Yes.
And hopefully you'll allow me to read it on your show.
Absolutely.
Again.
Of course. Yes, of course.
So that's it. That's my week.
Okay. All right. No, I haven't heard from Myra, and I'm not gonna talk to her, but I haven't gotten any email or anything from her to answer your question, Jeanette. So it's not I wouldn't go, but I wasn't invited to do anything. Anyway, please let me know again, Rebecca, and I thank you so much, and congratulations again for everybody. And I know that you're gonna get the animals that will be best for you. And I know that you're going to make that place a wonderful home. And I'm excited.
I sure hope so. That's the intention. I hope I can pull it off.
There you go, my friend.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care. Guys, I'm going to call it too. I'm going to go as well. It's been an hour and a half. I'm going to go as well. I got some stuff I need to do here. And I'll be speaking to you guys very soon. I'll have another video up tonight. And I hope to have one up in the morning. And yeah. All right, guys. Okay. Thanks, Rebecca.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye, Rebecca. Bye. And I wanted to say to you guys, because this is the way we're going to end this channel. Look at my hair. Give me a head with hair. That's because I was wearing my hoodie. Look. So this is the way that we're going to end this channel. We're going to say everybody has a story to tell, but nobody takes the time to listen until now. This is Toddie One Skip. See you on the next one. Thanks, guys. This is where we're going to meet on Monday mornings from now on. So please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, guys.